Welcome to the Quarantine Kitchen. If you're anything like me, on hot, humid days like today, the very last thing you want to do is put something in the oven, especially if you're like me and don't have air conditioning. However, if you're also like me, then your neighbors have decided to throw a children's birthday party outside, making it impossible to enjoy your yard and the nice weather. Fuck social distancing, am I right? Today we'll be making apple crisp. I've never actually made apple crisp before, but for some reason we have so many apples, so it seemed like a good idea. Normally, I think of apple desserts as something to enjoy with the fall weather. However, time is meaningless, so we're not doing that. To make the apple crisp, you'll need all-purpose flour, white sugar, brown sugar, cinnamon, old-fashioned oats, vegan butter, salt, a lemon. So many apples. Let's get started. First, wash then peel the apples. For this recipe, I'm using Granny Smith apples because I think the tartness of the Granny Smith is a perfect juxtaposition from the richness and sweetness of the recipe. Also, it's the kind of apple we had at our house. You can use whatever apples you have lying around, unless the only apples you have lying around are Red Delicious apples, in which case, don't bother. Once the apples are peeled, cut them into small pieces. I highly recommend one of those apple cutters that's a circle and you push down. I don't have one of those, clearly. Next, get your lemon juice. Add the lemon juice to the apples. Next, add the white sugar and part of the cinnamon. Take an 8x8 baking pan and grease liberally. Put the apple mixture in the pan. That seems like too many apples for a pan of this size. But this is what the directions told me to do, so we'll see how this goes. Set the pan full of apples aside. In another mixing bowl, put together the rest of the ingredients. This recipe only calls for a pinch of salt. Shout out to all 6 people who got that joke. Because it's so humid, your brown sugar may clump together. Make sure you mix well to get all of the clumps out. Now there's a very specific way that this recipe tells me to put the stick of butter into the mixture. Typically it asks you to use something called a pastry shears, but I don't have one of those. So instead I'm going to cut it up into small cubes using this knife. Or I'm going to try, because as I hold this, it's just melting. It's melting so much. It's so hot. Once everything's been added, mix the mixture until it resembles tiny pea-sized crumbs. Currently, my mixture looks like a bunch of dry ingredients and some chunks of melting butter. So, once the mixture is properly mixed, spoon it onto the top of the apple mixture. You'll want to coat the apples evenly so it has a nice crust. Amazingly, this does seem to be the perfect size for this pan. The apple crisp needs to bake for 40 to 50 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, which I'm pretty sure is currently the temperature of this room. While we wait for it to bake, I'm going to clean up my workstation and have a lie down in a very dark room drinking a very cold beverage. Will I feel refreshed? Here's our vegan apple crisp, fresh out of the oven. And hot out of the oven. Wow! I recommend eating it warm with some vanilla ice cream. I don't have any vanilla ice cream, because if I did, I would have just eaten that instead of making apple crisp. Let's give it a try. I recommend not inhaling while you take a bite, because then cinnamon lodges in your airway, and it hurts. This is a great apple crisp recipe. However, I would recommend holding on to this recipe and making it when the weather's not quite so hot. That's all for this episode of the Quarantine Kitchen. Join us next time, or hopefully don't.